this is a video to talk a little bit about whether Bitcoin's bear market has begun or whether we're still inside of a bull market. This is a bearish Elliott Wave count that begins at the end of 2022. The fourth wave begins at the beginning of September, and inside of this fifth wave we can see 5 waves. Inside of this bearish count, we would be inside of the first impulse to the downside, inside of a corrective wave A. This would be confirmed if we saw 3 waves to the upside inside of a wave 2. For the bullish count, the fourth wave begins at the beginning of August, and we would expect one more high to complete this cycle. This 5 should be over here. The candle charts and the line charts call for different counts, however, looking at the local price action, I think it makes it a little bit more clear that the bearish scenario has a higher probability, as in the bearish scenario we would count this as 1, 2, 3, triangle, 4, 5. In the bullish count we would count it as A, triangle, B, C. However, if I'm offline right now, so I can't use my trend-based fib extension, but if we were to use this A wave to predict the C wave, it would end up around about 60k, which would invalidate the bull run anyway, so I think it's a lot less likely. If we look at total 3, we can also see a clear 5 wave move to the upside. And inside of the multi-cycle count, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could potentially be in the 5th of the 5th of the 5th, which is a macro top, which would also coincide with the Nasdaq being at a macro top inside of a 3rd wave. And we know that Bitcoin is heavily influenced by the global market, so this would correlate quite well. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the distribution inside of this double top, which really began when Donald and Melania released their meme coins. This started to really change the market structure into bearish price action and extracted a lot of liquidity from the markets, a lot of liquidity from the altcoin markets. I think over 50 billion was extracted in 1 hour inside of this candle. So there was a lot of, it really did change the trajectory. We then, if this is the top, it occurred on Trump's inauguration day. And it's funny to look back throughout Trump's campaign and from his election, between his inauguration, him and his team have been creating nothing but bullish crypto news. And to look at it in hindsight, we can maybe see that the intention for all of that was to rug everyone. And what a surprise, Donald Trump doing something for personal gain. However, we also see so many other whales and institutions creating bullish news in this area in order to trap retail into becoming exit liquidity. So here we have Robert Kennedy saying that he puts his wealth into Bitcoin, puts most of his wealth into Bitcoin at a local top here. And we see Larry Fink from BlackRock saying that Bitcoin is going to 700k, Standard Charter saying Bitcoin's going to 500k, former Binance CEO suggesting Bitcoin will go to 1 million, the current Binance CEO saying to hold. And we also saw the Argentinian president also carry out a rug pull and And all of these are just a few examples. There's so many, if you go on crypto news outlets. But all of this bullish news occurs here in order to change the hands and leave retail holding the bag. We also saw the Bybit quote-unquote hack, which was very convenient timing. And what they do is they print bullish at the top and then bearish news to justify dumping it, and to justify changing the hands. So also rather interesting, last Sunday we saw another blatant example of market manipulation, whereby Trump tweeted on a Sunday about the crypto reserve and mentioned specific altcoins, and someone took a $200 million long a few seconds before he tweeted and closed it before this candle close. This is the whale versus retail. It's what this game is all about. However, it just becomes more and more obvious in instances like this when it's on the world stage for everyone to see. We also saw Eric Trump have the cheek to say that they did this on a Sunday on behalf of retail. However, if retail took this trade, they got wrecked. The only reason they did this on a Sunday was because liquidity is low on a Sunday. It's easier to manipulate and create volatility because the order books are thinner. So, yes. And the crypto czar also said after this that the only reason Trump mentioned these specific altcoins was because they're in the top 5 and not necessarily because it is in their action plan, which is just very convenient. And what happened was, when the market opened on the Monday, there was the largest CME gap in Bitcoin in the history of Bitcoin. So in order to close this, it dumped and it left retail wrecked. It's also rather interesting to look at members of Trump's cabinet. Whenever they tweet about Bitcoin, it's always at these local tops, including the Crypto Summit, which mentioned absolutely nothing that they haven't already talked about before, and has definitely sparked this downtrend, this further sell-off. And it was interesting that during the summit, they were stalling until the market had closed. And I believe they did this for a similar reason as they did in the previous Trump tweet. And also probably to create some distance between the event and the sell-off, so that it didn't look like it was them who were involved. That's just a theory, but I also think it's quite interesting that Elon Musk tweeted at the exact date of the exact top, and it's the same pattern over and over and over. There's no way that these people who have access to the best financial advisors, and have all of the insights, all of the insider knowledge, that they are buying at these macro tops. They only talk about it when they want to sell. And so it's also quite interesting when we look at this multi-cycle count and to see that so many of these people have been publicly bearish about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for a very long time. And this is because they don't want the masses to achieve financial freedom. They don't want the masses to buy when at a point where they could make a lot of financial security. Here we have Donald Trump tweeting at a cycle bottom, that an anti-crypto tweet, and if you had invested here, you know, you would have made a rather substantial amount of money. And it's just interesting that the strategic reserve is occurring at the fifth of the fifth of the fifth wave. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence. They will have been privately investing all the way along here, even if they were publicly bearish. So yes, I hope this video was helpful. I hope that it was interesting, and I wish you all the best with everything. Bye bye.